welcome back to Dukascopy TV. I'm Natalie MacDonald and you're joining us at the IFX Expo Asia in coordination with FX Street and Forex Peace Army. Up next in the studio, I'm joined by Andrew Budzinski of ITC Markets. Andrew, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Natalie.
Okay, so today you're joining us in Asia, which, as we all know, has got quite a few ticks against it at the moment. Major technological and financial hub, contains 2 of the BRIC nations and also half of the world's population. This is in addition to really continuing to outpace Europe at the moment. Can you talk us through how important you see Asia as to your company, and also how do you look to differentiate yourself within this market?
Look, for us, Asia's a critical part of the world. I mean, quarter of the world's population, as you mentioned. You know, you look at the sort of clientele in Asia, and they're typically a lot wealthier with a lot of disposable income. You know, you look at the gaming revenue of Macau, for example, 7 times that of Vegas. So for us, it's a critical market, and you know, it's a very difficult market as well in that regard. You know, people in Asia tend to be a little bit more picky than a lot of people in other areas of the world. And I think, you know, we've always found it a little bit difficult to compete in Asia. However, you know, we've done so in a rather successful manner because we're based in Australia, which gives us an advantage there. You know, the time zone's very similar. So for us in markets, you know, it is a critical market, and you know, we continue to expand in here. We have an office in China and a small one in Vietnam, and we'll continue to invest in the region.
In an industry then where competing solutions, tight spreads can equate to market share, who do you fear in that sense? Who do you see as being your biggest competitor?
Well, look, for us, you know, we do compete on spreads ourselves. You know, we look at ourselves as the Ryanair, for example, of the airline industry. So for us, it's very much price sensitive. So of course we have competitors, you know, euro dollar. I don't think we have that many competitors because we have one of the tightest spreads around. But you know, there are other competitors out there that offer the ECM model, not to mention any names, but you know, they do exist.
Let's take a look then at trading platforms, and in their quarterly report, Forex Magnate suggests that MT4 represents approximately 20% of the retail market. Now, as you know, brokers are always launching new, jazzy, exciting, all singing, all dancing trading platforms to this playing field. But what are insiders using? Which FX platform to you seems to be growing the most?
Well, of course, for us, it's MT4. You know, we tend to cater for the EA community. So you find a lot of EA traders using MT4, and that's predominantly where our volume comes from. We also have CTrader as well, would account for about 10 to 15% of our overall volume. But I think, you know, MT4 is here to stay, and MT4's got a very well-developed community around it, you know, unlike other platforms. And I think that's where it's got the edge. You know, clients are generally self-sufficient on MT4, they support themselves, whereas when you have your own proprietary platform, you're re-educating the client base. And it's always a very difficult thing for brokers to do. And it costs a lot of money marketing-wise. Whereas if you give a client what they want and they're happy with the solution, then you're not going to have a lot of the support problems thereafter. So for us, you know, MT4 is the primary platform. It'll continue to be the primary platform. You know, we're continually adding platforms. We're adding Tradable as well. We have CTrader, as I mentioned. But, you know, I think it remains MT4 at this stage.
What challenges then are you facing in terms of attracting new customers? Have you noted a change almost in the trader profile? And if so, how are you acting to both attain and retain these clients?
Well, for us, you know, we tend to cater for the more sophisticated client. So we get what I would call the second wave of trader. First wave goes to a market maker broker, and second wave goes to an ECM broker. So for us, it's not a difficult acquisition process. We're always second in the market. So, you know, it's the other brokers educated the market, then we come in and pick up the higher value clients typically. But the traders are becoming smarter. You know, they're asking more questions. They're asking about latency, spreads obviously, you know. So the traders are actually really understanding now, whereas, you know, in the early days when Forex was first introduced or Forex first became popular online, these were not questions that they asked.
So in terms of that client basis then, how do you look to handle client complaints and how do you look to rectify errors? Do you deal with the client directly or do you take a more neutral stance?
Well, we deal with clients directly. You know, typical complaints for us, because we are an ECM broker, slippage, things like that, you know, that's generally the theme of a complaint or a technology issue. So we always communicate with the clients, and we try to learn from our complaints. You know, a lot of brokers don't. They just respond and they pay out the client. We do pay out in some circumstances, but we try to understand why it happened and find a solution to the problem rather than just, you know, hush, hush, hush. So that's the way we deal with it.
Andrew, thank you so much for coming in today and sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we've got time for right now, but don't go away. We've still got plenty more industry leaders giving you the inside track here at the IFX Expo Asia. For now though, it's goodbye.